Hi, everybody. Welcome to the My Tribe podcast. It's so exciting to have Councilman Coach Ricardo Miller back on the platform. He's one of our favorites, and we are so honored to have him today. Welcome, Coach Ricardo.
Megs, it's always a joy to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me. I am looking forward to this. Guys, it's good to be back.
Awesome. So, for those that are tuning in for the first time, tell us who Coach Ricardo or Councilman Ricardo Miller is.
Well, first and foremost, I have to give salute to my country, the Bahamas. I am originally from the Bahamas, Nassau to be exact. But in addition to that, I moved to the United States some 24 years ago. And so I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Uh, Red Oak to be exact. And in Red Oak, I am a city councilman, just elected, now going on my third month in office. And it's just exciting. I've been a life coach for more than a decade. I've been a pastor for more than 25 years. And I've had the privilege of working with some incredible leaders in the Christian faith over the years. It's just been a joy. I've written about 6 or 7 books. And I just like helping people. And so, Megs, every time I get to be on your platform, I get to keep it real. Because you know what? I've discovered that what the Bible says is real and it's true. And I thought, how about just go that route, which is the truth will set us free. And so we're going to dive into some truths today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach, for introducing yourself. Now, we had you last time. So, the last podcast has been the most watched. And actually, my team is working on short videos and reels to get it out there more. And I'm sure this one is going to be equally, if not more, exciting. Thank you. This last Sunday, you joined my platform where I have a support group for ladies that have gone through divorce.
Yeah.
And the ladies loved you so much. They're like, when can he come back? I said, listen, reach out to him for one-to-one coaching, okay?
Yes. Thank you.
But they definitely do. And I think 2 of them have invited you to their conferences. So that was awesome. And if you would like to listen to the teaching Coach Ricardo had, he's going to touch a little bit about it today. But if you want access to the whole teaching, it's on the same YouTube page, Women of Wisdom, and also Coach Ricardo's whole story about his, he did a 5-part series on why he went through a divorce or what happened. So we're not going to spend time on that. If you want to know, Coach Ricardo, how can they access your whole story and your website?
Yeah, if they go to YouTube and put in Ricardo Miller divorce story, it will pop up. It will show up, like you mentioned. It was a 5-part series. I broke it down into different parts, just really talking about one of the whole series, Meg, was on shame, embarrassment, and guilt. Just the massive level of frustration being a pastor, being a Christian, being what I thought was a top tier guy, finding myself going through a divorce. So it's not something anybody goes into a marriage anticipating and looking forward to. So hopefully we'll be able to talk about some things to help some people to learn from what I discovered.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Coach. So I've had a lot of questions on dating, not only from the ladies post-divorce, but also from mature ladies
Yeah.
that have been in the church all their lives, believing God. I have a
Yeah.
friend who's in her 50s,
Mhm.
never been married, and still trusting God for her husband.
Yep.
So what would you say to a woman who is still waiting, either gone through divorce or never been married, a single parent, believing God for a husband? What would you say to encourage them and the
You,
forth?
you know, you never lose when you take care of yourself. Let me say that. You never lose when you take care of yourself. When you make sure you're good. And that's unfortunately, Meg, some people are postponing being good, being okay, and embracing life, waiting on the significant other. I think one of the most attractive things is somebody who has discovered themselves, is doing life fully by themselves. And if no one ever showed up, they would have still lived life to the fullest with
Yes.
no regrets, because If today I'm here and I'm by myself, but I've been given today and I can learn how to make today phenomenal, and then I've been given the week and I make the week phenomenal, then I'm given a month and I make the month phenomenal. Megs, when the right person come alongside you, and that person is at the same place, that's what makes for a great relationship. The unfortunate thing is some people are waiting, and so I would say, do you, boo? I would say, shine bright like a diamond, not for attraction, but for life. Because the person who's living life to the fullest is attractive. The person
Mm-hmm.
who literally is comfortable in their own skin, showing up and embracing a beautiful meal at a nice restaurant, traveling around the world, somebody who's comfortable showing up in rooms and advancing in career, advancing in networking, advancing in contributing to society, they're going to become a catch. But what happens is some people are distracted, Megs. Here's the deal. If you study track and field, I was watching the American sprinter young lady the other day. They're doing this documentary on her on Netflix. And I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about this. I can recall they talk about the fact that in a sprint, right? Because you could lose by seconds, right? And the deal was they were running, Megs, they were running. And here's the beautiful thing about winning in running a sprint. Don't look to the side.
Mm,
Don't look at your opponent.
mm.
Looking at your opponent can cost you seconds.
Wow, wow, that's good.
It's like laser focus. And so with the horse, if you ever seen those horse and carriage, what they do is they put those blinders on the side to keep the horse focused. Well, in track and field, when you're sprinting, you're talking about you're in your zone. You're not looking to the left. You're not looking to the right. You're looking to that mark. This is where I'm heading. The Bible says, where there is no vision, the people perish. And so the goal is to see a thing in front of you. Now, here's the deal. See what you can control and kill it, crush it, dominate it. And what you can't control, which is you can't control when the significant other shows up. But
Right,
when that significant other shows up, you want that significant other to discover, boy, this was a person who was killing it in their own right.
that's good.
Because the goal is to really do life well with someone. You want to have been focused and doing life right on your own. And then when you meet someone, we're going to talk more about this, and you see that they were also focused and they were doing life on their own. What
Mm,
a great connection. But
wow.
what happens, Meg, sometimes is somebody hadn't done the work. They
Mm, mm,
connected with someone
mm.
only to start to discover what they should be about.
Right.
It's like the person who says, "What's this? I haven't found my calling yet."
Mm,
But
mm,
then you found the man, only to discover you found your calling, and it frustrates the man.
mm, mm.
And now you say, "Well, I'm just trying to be me." Well, boy, I wish I knew that was you prior to meeting you. I wish I knew it was you before meeting you, because that's one of the concepts what people call we grew apart.
Mm, mm,
Well, I don't think so much as we grew apart. I think it was we hadn't discovered ourselves prior to coming together.
mm.
And now the reality is he wants to be an entrepreneur and I want to be a woman of God preaching around the world. I
Right.
think he should submit to the call of God on my life. And he's saying, I think she should submit to the entrepreneurial spirit of me having a business
Mm,
and so forth. And then you have these two different dynamics. And so I just really, really believe that the person that's watching us today, you
mm.
need to commit to becoming your best self.
Wow. That is really, really good. That is awesome. And I think when you use that example of a track race, there was one I shared. I think I shared it on my Facebook. A little girl was they started the race. Her shoe came off. She went back, put her shoe back on, and kept going, and actually won the race.
Wow.
So
Wow.
sometimes things happen along the way, but don't stop.
Don't stay focused on your
Yeah.
initial goals.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
your initial goals will get you the medal, the prize, the guy in this case.
Mm, mm. So that's good. Like for ladies, maybe you've always wanted to be a doctor, or you've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and sometimes they wait and say, oh, when I get married then I will pursue that. Don't stop for anybody, keep going.
Yeah,
Like you're saying, the guy will meet you on your way. He'll
yeah,
meet you achieving what you're supposed to achieve. Because I'm thinking of somebody who's been waiting since they were 25,
yeah,
and you're saying, okay, I'll start a business, or I will do this when I get married, and now you're 50, so
yeah.
you've wasted 25 years waiting
Uh-huh.
for that guy. What if he's going to show up at 55? You've wasted
Correct.
20 years waiting. But let's be more practical. So while I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, what do I do? Because we're in 2024,
Yeah,
and I quickly realized I was married when I was 23,
yeah.
and that was in 2002. So
Uh-huh.
20 something years later, things are so different.
Different. Yeah,
The dating back then and dating now are so different. And I think social media has given us the opportunity to meet people from all over the world on a big space, which can be a problem because there's a lot of scammers out there. I
yeah.
think I have a question from one of the ladies here that should lead into this. So she said, all the way from England, said, what are 5 red flags to watch out when interacting with men post divorce or long term relationships? So, including that in the answer,
Yeah,
also talking about where can we meet guys? I go to a church
yeah,
where most of the guys are married,
yeah,
or the ones that are not married are so much younger than me.
yeah.
Am I going to wait for the postman to come to my door? Am I going to wait for that guy to show up to church? What do we do?
Well, one of the things is when we initially found ourselves married the first time versus, let's just say, 20 years later,
Hmm.
as you've so eloquently stated, times have changed.
Right.
And the world has evolved and it's opened up. And one of the things we should have learned from the first time was all of my prerequisite may not be the same prerequisite.
That's good. That's good.
You see?
That's
Uh, I need to go in and identify why is that what
mhm.
I'm in pursuit of. Where did that come from? And I really dive into this because Megs, there are a lot of people who what they want is actually not what's best for them. And they're not asking God for what is best for them. They're asking God for what is impressive to others.
Wow. That's good.
You see? They're asking what is impressive to others. I was on a radio show not so long ago, and I told the host. She asked the question, and I says, "Listen to this question, Megs, and I know you have a lot of women of God who listen to this podcast." She says, Miller, so what do I do in finding my Boaz? I
Mhm.
said, well, what if God were to present to you a Boaz in the making who shows up here at the studio riding a bike? She said, no man who's riding a bicycle is going to date me. She's Max, Max,
Okay.
she said, no guy who's riding a bicycle. I said, no, he is sanctioned by God as a Boaz in the making. You know what her response was? I don't need no in the making.
Wow.
I don't need no in the making. So in other words, she could she could possibly find herself never marrying because her destiny is attached to an in the making.
I'm going to stop you there, coach, because women have this thing of saying, okay, in my 20s, I can date potential, but I'm in my 40s.
Uh-huh.
We can be doing potential in the 40s. What do you have to say about that? That's in the making.
I love the question, but I can't. Where did that come from? What established that? Is it
Mm,
because your girlfriend has a husband who's an attorney already? Is it
mm,
because 3 or 4 of your other sisters that's in your community have lead pastors and distinguished community leaders already? And you're saying this guy just figured out life and he's now going back to school. I have a friend. who who was going to school to be a pilot, and didn't feel like that was the call of God on his life, and he left. He dropped out of school, and went back home, and his parents were disappointed, clearly, right? They want to, come on, you're not a pilot, man. He wanted to be a commercial pilot. He said, I didn't want to do it. I thought I was doing it for my family. I thought I was doing it for my parents. He went ahead and bought a lawnmower and put in the back of his trunk that lawnmower and drove in the neighborhoods and started cutting lawns. About 3 months later, he bought a small pickup truck. Okay. He met a girl who was a national, professional, highly recognized girl who was killing it already in the newspaper for her career, already on TV. They started dating. He had 2 lawnmowers in the back of his truck and one guy with him. Today, watch this, she was already a nationally renowned person.
Mm-hmm.
He has 40 trucks and 300 employees now, 4 or 5 locations with his lawn company,
Mm-hmm.
making millions, and his wife doesn't even have to work. And
Wow.
initially, he was in the making.
But he was doing something.
Yeah, but so criterias. You
Yeah.
definitely. I didn't say, when I say in the making, I'm talking about doing something. I'm not talking
Right.
about some
Right.
dude who got a promissory note. I'm talking about some dude who is showing progress.
Right.
That's one of the red flags. You got to be able to identify, man. You ain't got no mattress. You ain't got your own place. Your car ain't paid for. You got a messed up credit. I mean, you got 2 kids out of that 2 baby mama drama kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I can't do you, boo. You know what I'm saying? Now that right there, that's not a promissory note. That's a problem.
Right.
If
Right.
you commit to a relationship like that, that's a problem. I'm talking about the guy where you've got the degree, you've got the career, you've probably purchased your home already, probably got a rental property already, and the guy hadn't figured out life like you. Y'all could be the same age. He could be 2,
Mm.
3 years younger. He could be 2, 3 years older. Sometimes women mature so much faster and get their lives figured out so much faster than guys. I'm saying you see enough that says this is a diamond
In the rough.
in the rough.
Mm.
That Now, I know there are a lot of ladies who said, but I don't hear enough stories of women who went and got a Boaz in the making. I helped make him, and then he went and found himself
Someone else.
somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
All of that is, you didn't pay attention to red flags.
Right.
Let's
Right.
dive into some of the red flags dynamics that you asked about. I would say, number one, very, very flirtatious and love bombing behavior.
Mm. Mm.
Flirtatious and love bombing behavior early on. Why do I say that? I say that because, man, if someone is showering you with extensive compliments and grand declaration of love and overwhelming attention, you gotta almost ask yourself, why are you trying to move so quickly?
Mm. Mm.
What's with the quickly? I mean, can we not just see? Because what happens with love bombing is often used by scammers to accelerate the emotion of the person to
Wow.
get head over heel, only to stop thinking because you are all in your feelings. So 2 dates in, you take him to your girlfriends and they say, girl, run. I'm telling you, man, everything about this dude. He's opening the door. He's flirtatious at the table. He is touching you on the shoulders. You all only been together 2 times. You say, girl, he is everything. And you're like, it's only 2 times. Why so extreme?
Mm. Mm.
Why so extreme? Why so immediate?
Mm.
A lot of times, those same extreme assertive behavior that comes flirtatiously like that has a lot of danger built into it. And so, because what happens is it turns off all of your proper reasoning
Mhm. Mhm.
because you're seeing everything you almost want in the immediate, and you gotta be like, hold on, everything that glitters and gold.
It's not
So,
good.
so I'm not gonna try to shut him down to say I don't want to do life with you, but I like if this is gonna be for the long haul. I was talking to a client the other day, and I said, remember that the life is more important than the day.
The life is more important.
Life is more important than the day. And he is a guy. He said, "Man, listen, man, I love this girl, man, and we're gonna marry her, and I'm gonna blow her mind with this wedding. I'm gonna blow her mind with this wedding." I was like, "Have you all done the work to make sure you can blow her mind with the life you give her,
Not the wedding day.
on the wedding day?"
Mm.
There are a lot of people who get caught up on the day.
Yes, that's
You know,
true.
culturally too, Megs, our international, our people internationally,
My
they
goodness.
they may not be happy a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, but boy, that initial day,
As long as you'll be talking about it for the next 10 years, but they're not even together anymore.
they're not even together no more.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I have a friend who uh I thought I hadn't seen her in a while, and I thought to just go ahead and Google her on and just do a search on her name, and she popped up, and the thing that popped up was her wedding pictures. And it was so long ago, probably 10
Mhm.
years ago, they'd been married. And I thought this was pictures from Vogue magazine or something.
Mhm.
Stunning. But they didn't last 2 years.
Wow.
They didn't last 2 years. And so a lot of times people overcommit to the day without understanding the commitment for the life. You know,
Wow.
a lot of people ask me about Karen and I and how I found her and how she found me and what is it that's enriching our relationship. Megs, once again, it wasn't about the flattery moment. It was about the enjoying of our lives together. It wasn't about, I'm going to have an incredible wedding. It was, is this a woman I can have an incredible life with? It wasn't, I would like to marry her. The question is, can I do all of life with her?
Wow.
All of life. And so that would be number two is avoidance of personal details. Avoidance of personal details. If someone is evading sharing personal details, yeah, man, I've been talking to this dude, but I don't even know his full name. I don't even know if he got any kids. He don't even want to let me know if he married. As a matter of fact, I don't even know where he's staying. But boy, he is nice. You know what I'm saying? He brings me flowers on the date. He pulls out the chair. If watch this, I know we got a lot of women in God here, but I know some people, you know, they give up it up a little early. They said, man, he delivers and all. He responds well in all of these facets. But you don't
Mm.
know this dude.
Right.
You don't know this dude. Case in point, Megs. I know another story. I know stories, man. I've been living a while,
We're here for them. Please.
right? I've been here, and here's the deal, lady. She said, "I didn't know." He asked me to marry her, marry him, and I said yes, and he was a convicted fella,
Mm.
and we were together for 2.5 years. He never told me he was in prison for so long. He never. You know what he said? You
Mhm.
never asked.
Wow. Wow.
You never asked. Not only that but he had other deficiencies, other areas. So one of the things that I tell people in relationships, if you want a healthy relationship is built with difficult conversations being a common occurrence.
Mm. Mm.
The more you can talk through difficult conversation, the healthier your relationship will be.
Mhm.
Let me say that again. The more you could talk about difficult conversation, the healthier a relationship will be. Megs, there are guys who want to marry a girl but say, you can't touch what my mama said. And we don't go in there. That's my mother. Or you can't, well, I need to talk to you about what your pastor said. No, that's my pastor. We can't talk about that. But you want to do life with me. But we can't talk to you that. Or you have a child, or I have a child, or hey, let's talk about money. How do you? Oh, let me tell you something. I don't need to be. I pay my bills. I do what I do, but we ain't gonna talk about no money. Why can't we talk about it?
Mm. Mm.
Why can't we talk about it? Listen, I often say this to my clients. I tell people you got to get comfortable at asking questions like this. What is it that you know that I need to know that nobody knows? Let me say it again. What is it that you know that I don't know that I need to know, but nobody knows? Secrets.
Okay.
Skeleton in closets, elephant in the room. What is it that I need to know? And let me tell you something. You're not ready for anybody to be in your life if you're not ready to talk with them about everything about your life.
Mm,
But
mm,
equally so, you shouldn't invite anybody to be in your life if they're not prepared to talk to you about everything. Because whatever we went through, Megs, made us.
made
And
us.
some of us are still dealing with what we went through. So
Mm,
to go ahead and commit to do life with someone who have a lot of things that has gone on in their life, but they've never talked through them, because one of the ways therapists and professional counselors help you is they help you talk through it. Well,
right. Right.
even if you get a good professional therapist and you start walking through the process, guess after they help you to talk to them about it, guess what they're going to tell you? You need to go home and talk to your wife about this. You have to get there. You have to get there to be able to have what they call family meetings.
Mm, mm,
You have to let it be known.
right.
No skeleton in the closet, no elephant in the room. Red flags is there are skeletons. Red flags, there's avoidance. I don't want to go there. The other one I would say is you want to look out for is requests for money or financial assistance. Pay attention to that.
Mm,
Pay attention. It's a you remember that initial red flags? Love hard, love early, now make it big requests.
wow.
It's a scammer move.
Mhm.
It's a scammer move. Watch this. Love hard, saying all the right things, acting all the right way immediately. I'm talking about 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in. Watch this. Watch it. Somebody once said to me, when they did not even ever sit down with me, said, I love you. You can't love me. You don't even know me. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying, Max? Listen, the person said this when I was single, right? The person said, I love you. But they didn't know me. They never even sit to have dinner with me. They didn't even know what was my triggers. What was the difficult elements that caused me to get a divorce?
Mm,
They liked what they saw on the front end. But the truth of the matter is, I believe had I stayed even trying to be the kind of guy that would connect with a person like that, which oftentimes would have been, I'm I'm flabbergasted, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overjoyed by the term someone loves me. And if I let that right there get me, that would be the thing that right there that would hurt me.
mm.
Because I need to love me enough to know that you saying you love me is not enough.
But catching you there, coach, sometimes people say a guy knows by date 2 or 3 whether he wants this to go forward
Huh?
or whether you're the kind of woman he wants you to be with. Is
Yeah.
that true? Or then how do you then differentiate between the scammer and the guy who's really genuine?
Guy knows and girl knows. It's called discernment. You could do life with this person. It's the same way you sit down at the table, Megs. You've lived long enough. I've lived long enough. You could sit down at the table and be like, I could leave right now. I mean, like 5 minutes in on the table, you could tell I don't need to finish this lunch, this dinner. I can
Yeah,
go right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
This it's nothing here. And then you could find 2 or 3 lunch dates in. You could be like, this is really interesting. I think I can do life with this person.
Mm.
And but that 3 times, that could, I think that's very surfacey though. And the problem with surfacey is you could get some acquired skill to help you really dive in if you have the acquired skill to identify fast what
The
are
acquired
all of
skill. That's that part.
you
That part.
catch you catch that?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right? But a lot of people don't have that skill set. Most people are talking through their feelings.
I would say, even before you get to date 1, 2, and 3,
Yep.
I have the statement that I've coined over time is keep talking. I'm
Yep.
diagnosing you.
Yep. Mhm.
And I can have a conversation with somebody, and before we put the phone down, I know I'm not even going to waste my time and meet up with you. because I think I have learned, having done the NLP,
Yep.
ask questions and
Yes.
listen. Like when you're saying something, I'm hearing more than what's
Same. Same.
be.
Yeah.
So I think I've saved myself a whole lot of days
Right. But
by having conversations and asking the right questions.
that's a skill, an
Mm.
acquired skill that a
Mhm.
lot of people haven't done the work to get. And so that's a part of it. You want to look out and say, so I think this request, different types of requests, and then I believe also it's okay to sense a person in the immediate, but I think also I've met some people who they weren't each other's cup of tea initially, and they end up finding love that lasted forever. And so what I say with that is, don't totally dismiss the whole concept of in the immediate he wasn't it, because he could be
That-
not it in the immediate,
That's
but
true.
you were like, you know what? I believe both heart and head needs to be fully engaged in the process of dating. Heart and head. Heart meaning you feel something.
Mm, mm,
Head meaning you're properly reasoning and viewing this thing with an understanding. You're
right.
not head over heel just in your feelings. You have a very good position of understanding that should this person walk away, should you not meet them again,
Mm,
there's enough maturity and strength in you. I like him, but I don't have to have him. I
right.
think he likes me, but he don't. I don't think he has to like have to have me either. So what we could do is we're going to try to see if we can learn life and do life. And a lot of people, Megs, one of the red flags is a lot of people they don't know relationship at its best without sexual engagement and the over flirtatious touching and
Mm,
emotionally arousing that comes in the early courting, sex talk even.
mm,
So what happens is that starts to talk with your head and get that sorry, that starts to play with your head, play
mm,
with your emotion, and get some people just head over heel when you could say, hey, can we just enjoy each other's company? Just can we enjoy the state fair? Can we just enjoy a walk at the park? Can we just enjoy sitting over by a water fountain and eating ice cream and having conversation? Let's get to know each other and both parties being there. If you find both parties being there, boy, you're heading in a really good place. But if you see one party's being like, "Are you coming over now?" or "Girl, you ain't coming over here," right? Hey, listen, I think there's this one push for I would say for sexual engagement without commitment to knowing me or getting to know should we be together even from a understanding standpoint, major red flag. And a lot of times that could be guy or girl. Some people are like, oh my goodness, I want to know. I want to know if he got any skill. I want to know if I'm wasting my time, right? Now you want to know if he got any skill. Watch this. He may have mad skills to the point where you go head over heel, only to find yourself what they call hook. But then you start realizing there are a ton of other things that you're not for.
mm.
And a lot of women, Megs, when they said, here's the biggest lie most, especially Christian women do. They call off a list. Oh, Meg, all I need is these 5 things in a man. All I need is these 3 things in a man. That's a lie.
Mm, mm,
That's a lie. I'm a man. I'm 48 years old. And I know this to be true. You get those 3, and like 2 years in the relationship, you discover, well, what's about these 3? You say, you prayed for these 3 right here. I, I need a provider. I need a protector. I need somebody who is a man of God. Look at that. Those are 3 nice ones, man.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Provider, protector, even a priest. When they preach those series right now, what's this?
The
Priest,
P,
provider,
3 Ps.
the 3 Ps. Hey, watch this. Women, this is what you need in a man of God. That's why the divorce rate in the church is like 50% or more. Because we're lying to ourselves saying that's the only 3 you need. That's not the only 3 you need.
Mm,
Those are 3 that may be really high on your list. But watch those people who have those three. All of us know somebody who has those three who aren't happy and
A
right
lot.
on the brink
A,
of divorce.
a lot.
A lot. So that's why I'm trying to expose this thing. It's really not a list. I'm going to help somebody out. It's actually not a list because it changes.
Mm.
That's why it really can be a list, Megs.
Wow.
The guy you want can be the same guy you have 3 years later.
Wow.
Let me
Wow.
say that again. The guy you want can be the same guy you have 3 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later. Guess why? Because you're changing and he's changing. And Max, once the relationship goes into familiarization, once the relationship goes into normalizing its behavior, where what they call the butterfly goes away, or the honey in the moon is no longer existing, and this called real. Now the question is, can we sustain this relationship under the premise what we thought was our thing that got us here?
Mm.
Is
Mm.
it enough?
Wow.
And a lot of people find themselves there. They found themselves where, yeah, I'm married, I'm happy. Watch this, Megs. I want you. No, hey, I'm going 3 years in, and this is one of those things my wife and I we talk about. We talk about the fact of don't get so familiar that you dismiss the honor, the healthy things that will grow our relationship to keep us in love with each other.
Mm. Mm.
Because what happens is human beings are creatures of habit, and we normalize real fast. Megs, at one point you loved your house, and now you question, I don't know, oh shoot, should I keep it? Should I let it go?
Mm.
Oh my goodness, I should have gotten a bigger one. Oh my goodness. Why did I get all this space? Oh my goodness, the light bill on this house. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
They're gonna tell me they're gonna charge me this kind. I shouldn't have bought a house in Texas. I should have bought a house in California. Oh, I should have bought a house on the lake. Guess what? People do that in marriage.
Wow.
They got, watch this, when you got your house, you talked about it. You took pictures with it. You invited friends to come over and tell them, hey, I got guest bedrooms. Hey, let me tell you something. Check out the view and all this stuff. And you're so happy because you got this house.
Yeah.
3 to 5 years in, you start saying, I don't know if this is a house from hell. Or, and there are some people who have gone that far.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, people are moving within 3 to 5 years of actually this generation is moving faster than any other generation. In times past, people used to buy a house, stay in the house, live there forever.
Mm.
Now, about 5 years in, they're like, oh, we don't live in that house no more. We wouldn't go to that house. And
Wow.
that's almost like how we do relationships. Very few people, Megs, I know you're a tribe type of person, you believe in community, but
Mm-hmm.
people don't even have lifelong friends anymore. They're like, oh my goodness, they change friends like they change clothes. It's just,
Wow.
and so when you think about relationships, you start thinking, what is it you really want? And am I really
Mm.
doing the work for it?
That's good. That's good, Coach. Let's go to the next one because this is a hard topic.
Yeah.
Another red flag.
Another red flag. I would say another red flag would be inconsistencies of stories. Their stories ain't lining up.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
The story ain't lining up. Megs, I heard you say ask questions. But a lot of people ask questions, but they aren't really listening. And then they start to see that the stories aren't adding up and they're not taking the time to pull back and say, hey, you say it. Hey, help me understand. There are a lot of people in the courting stage of their relationship, they talk fast without thinking. And that talk fast, Karen cracks it up. My wife cracks me up. She's like, talking fast will make you lie and think it's the truth.
That's true.
You just said it real fast, Well, when I'm going to school, because you're sitting across from a professional person, you thought, I'm planning on going to school. That's really what you should have said. I was planning on going to school when you say you're going to school.
Mm.
And then you're like, the relationship matures a little bit and you meet some friends or family members. You say, well, he's going to school. So where are you going to school? No, I'm not quite actually going to school right now. I'm actually was planning on go. I know I told her school, but I'm planning on going back to school.
Mm, mm, mm. Two different things.
Two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard you the first time and you never corrected that. So I would say look at the inconsistencies within a person's story. That's a red flag. Baby mama drama, money practices, faith position. Oh yeah, man, I go to church every Sunday, right? So what do you do at church? Man, I'm an usher. I'm in the men's choir. And then you see them 3 weeks later, you say, man, how's church? Man, I haven't been in church in a while.
Mm.
Huh? Hey, see, because he heard you are a woman of God. You love church, blah, blah, blah. So he said, man, I go to church, man. Yeah, I'm in the choir, man. I'm serving on the usher. But y'all talking 4 weeks in now.
He hasn't been to church any one of the Sundays.
He hasn't been to church any of the Sundays. And then you say, so, you ask another question that for somebody who's been in church all your life, if you really are plugged into a church,
mm-hmm.
And so what y'all got going on at your church next month?
Right.
Man, I don't really know. Man, don't tell me you were an usher in the choir and you don't know anything what's happening next month. And you're talking to me, who's a person who's very committed to church.
Right.
Your stories aren't lining up.
Mm.
Stories aren't lining up. That's what I would say. I say a red flag is the stories aren't lining up.
Mm-hmm.
What's this another one? Everybody likes me. I got a lot of friends. But then you start talking to them for 4 or 5 weeks, you realize, where are your friends? Man, I don't really do people. I don't really do people. Oh man, I thought you said you have a lot of friends. I thought I'm a person, I got a tribe. Do you have community? Yeah, I got my people too, But then you're about 6 weeks in and you're like, so you haven't introduced me to anybody. You got any friends? Yeah, I don't do a lot of friends. Hold on, you told me. I remember you told me.
Wow.
Inconsistencies and stuff. Because here's the deal. Max, you got community and you want to do life in your community. You would be hoping that I meet somebody who also have a community and would do well with their community. But then they tell you that only because you said it as well and they trying to level up with your story. But then later on, their story is inconsistent because they were trying to keep up with your story.
So listen well.
Listen well.
Yeah, that's
listen
good.
well.
That's
Next
good.
one is rushing the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Rushing the relationship. If there was this pursuit, this push, this rapid need for progression in the relationship could be a red flag. I don't think there's no need to rush. I think there's no need to rush on either part. Somebody said, well, man, I don't have time to play. Okay. And I don't have time to waste.
And women's body clock as well. So you don't have 3 years to get to know somebody when you're trying to hurry up.
Right. But a lot of people, they rush that process. And what happens is, Megs, if you go in the car a lot and tell them I need to buy a car now, you're going to lose. If you walk on a lot and you says, hey guys, I need to buy a car before I walk off this lot.
Right.
2 years from now, you would have regretted purchasing that car because they saw you as a sucker.
You'll just get anything.
Because she ain't walking off this property without a car. Woohoo! But if you could walk away, if you don't have to today, that's where a lot of people are. A lot of people are in the position of have to, and they end up with bad deals.
In Bible school, at Christ with the Nations, there was a teacher who said we met within 3 weeks, like a day or two after I asked her to marry me, and we were married in 3 weeks. And it was like 40 years later, they were still together. Those things happen. But we've heard about it happening this day and age. Like they meet so fast, they get married so fast, and they break up so fast.
But the challenge with that is, it's not that either one is in right or wrong. The challenge is, who are the individuals?
Mm.
It's who are the individual. When I walk on a lot, I walked on a lot not so long ago. I said, I want that truck right there. The guy said, well, let me show you a couple other things.
Mm. Mm.
I want that.
Right,
I want
right.
that. I have a mentor who said he saw a lady in front. He says, I'm going to marry her. He walked up, introduced himself. He's a high-end guy. She was a high-end professional female. He said, I could see you being my wife. And she looked at him and walked off. And he said, it took me 3 years. He said, she's my wife. We got 2 kids now. We've been now, he said,
Wow.
I saw that.
So she had said yes earlier on. She would have saved herself 3 years.
Right? But here's the point is some people do know. Some people do know. Some people did the work to know. Some people didn't
Right.
do the
They
work
did
to know.
the work. So you need to do the work.
You need to do the work. So when I walk on the lawn and said that's the car I want it, there's a lot of dynamics behind
Mm.
what I already perceived why I want that car.
Mm. Mm.
Same thing. There are a lot of other people who don't know what they want, but then they go on a lot to buy a car.
Right.
That's a problem when you immediately making a deal and you don't know what you want.
That's good.
Versus, so there's that dynamic. So the couple who met in 30 days, they realize, oh my God, where have you been all my life? You're exactly what I want, and you're exactly what I want, and let's do this. And then there are others who I thought this is what I want, but because I really never figured out really what I wanted, and then
Mm.
have a really healthy position of discernment
Mm.
and
Mm.
maturity, and then a level of conversation that is, let's talk about what we never talked about because we met so early. Let's make sure that we strengthen the basis of what we're about to do by
Right.
being very transparent.
Mm. Mm.
A
That's
red flag, Meg, would be if a person isn't transparent, you don't want to do life with them
mm. Mm.
because it's going to frustrate you. It's going to hurt you in the long run. I need to know. And I'm not talking about a hostile, I'm talking about mature. That's the reason why, if you're really healthy and they're really healthy, if they've done the work to become that person where when they walk past you, they're talking to you at dinner or lunch, whatever, it's no big deal. Hey, I'm not interested. Okay. I was good before you. I'll be good after you. Or what's this? Hey, I like to do life with you. Okay, let's do lunch next weekend. Why can't we do it this weekend? Hold on, why are you rushing me?
Mm. Mm.
I mean, if we think we have something, let's do lunch next weekend. I have a schedule prior to you, and if you
I
got a
was
life going,
waiting for you. My life wasn't just on hold, waiting for you to show
hello,
up.
hello, Megs. And if you had a life that's solid too, you would too would say, okay, next weekend is fine, but can we talk between that time?
Mm. Mm.
Almost certainly. That would help accelerate the process, allowing us to get to know each other a little bit, or maybe
More
cancel this date
days.
that
Yeah.
we proposed.
Mm-hmm. Give me one more red flag, coach, and then I wanna ask the next question, and then touch on online dating. So one more red flag because I know there's a lot, but give me another one, and then we move to the next question.
The person is not over their past.
That's a big one.
Person not over their past. I mean, don't mention her. Don't mention him. Uh,
Mm.
so how are you? You're 45. Okay. Got any kids? Yeah, I got 2 kids. Been married before. Yep. What happened? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Well, have a nice day.
Have
Hey,
a day.
have a nice day. See, most people aren't prepared to be that blunt. Okay. If it's a lunch meeting and it's just you two, say, okay, well, after this lunch, I'm not finishing this conversation because there's no way I'm going to commit to somebody and not know what was the problem prior to, because I can't be the next without knowing what the problem was with the first.
Right, 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 right.
You know, I know. I want to know. I mean, it could have been your fault or it could have been their fault. Just let me know. Hey, man, I messed up.
I mean, in how much detail, coach? Because I remember after I went through a divorce, when I'm explaining what happened, it would take me 2 hours for me to really explain for someone to know where I'm at and what happened. So I'm going to be explaining for 2 hours to
No,
everybody.
no, it's not. That's the relation. That's you doing life with the person. You will
Right,
discover that in doing life with the person.
right.
What I'm talking about is I'm talking about. So so you were married before? Yeah. What happened? Man, bitter, ugly divorce, infidelity on his part or infidelity on my part. I did not honor the covenant, and I learned I lost the marriage. And so it was one of the worst experiences in my life. And I'm hoping as I move forward, it's definitely something I don't ever experience again. If I made a mistake, I pray that I'll never make that mistake again. When the person made a mistake, I'm hoping I never meet a person who would do that to me again. But that's what happened in a nutshell.
Okay. Oh,
Do you see
that's
that?
so highlights, just
Just highlight.
main points.
Just main points. Yeah, because here's the deal. Here's the trick here. You go into an hour story, you'll almost come across like you're in over this. Well, hold on.
Yes,
Yeah, so
that's
much information.
right.
Oh.
Start crying. Start crying in the middle of it.
They're like, red flag, do not
Run.
run. No,
That's good.
but
Yeah.
yeah, just a little snippet, and then uh, and maybe as the relationship develops and more on, you could say, you know what, man, I hate that's what happened to you in your previous marriage. What did you learn from that? That could be in another moment, you know. What mistakes you think you made later on?
Mm,
That could
mm.
be in another. That's another conversation. Because
Important,
along the
important
way,
conversations. Yeah.
yeah, you're continuing to. But once again, you're okay talking. That's my point. But
Mm.
if you see they don't want to go there no matter what, this person is not in a good place. They're not in a good place.
That is good, coach. So I'm going to go into this question and then you're going to tell us something, advice on online dating.
Yeah.
So the question was, in a world where we've had to step up and be many roles, this is from a woman, in a world where we've had to step up and be many roles, how do we balance our achievements, independence? She said, blame Destiny's Child with
Yeah.
our femininity in a relationship.
What happens, Meg, is a lot of people they allow what they've acquired or what they're in pursuit of to become them.
Their identities in that.
Their identity is in that, and it's a mistake.
Right.
You have four businesses and you're making $1 million a week. That's still not who you are. That's
That's,
not who you are.
that's good.
You
That's good.
know, you have two kids, and you live in a home that has a solid mortgage, and you're in pursuit of your degree. But that's not who you are. Those
Mm,
are just things you're doing in life. And
that's
so
good.
what happens is when people meet, they talk about what they've acquired and what they do like it's them, which then is a turn off to the person you're talking to because you're so lost in all that what you've done. Well, I had a case in court today, and they can't get past this sharing. I'm an attorney, you know. Well, two of my stores, the employees were just they frustrated me, and you can't get past that. You got business, okay? Yeah, you got business.
Right, right, right.
And you're trying to court somebody. You're trying to talk to somebody. You
hmm
got to know how to let that stuff go.
That's not who you are.
That's not who you are. That's what I would say. In this world of woman crushing it, you can be crushing it and still be a lady.
Mm, mm,
Hey,
mm.
listen, you could own three businesses, a professional attorney, and have a couple hundred employees, and still look forward to the door being open for you, getting your toes massaged. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying?
mm.
Your guy telling you, "Hey, I got this," and in a conversation, and you're saying, "Okay, babe, take care of business." It's not that you don't know how to take care of business, but
Mm.
some people they're so caught up in, oh, I raised my two kids by myself. And this fool ain't gonna talk to me this way. And the guy's like, babe, I got this. Don't tell me I got this because I'm a boss too. I'm a woman who had to raise some kids. My mama didn't raise no punk. And you're like, hold on, calm down.
Mm, mm.
You got a man here, man. You say you want to do, right? I
Right.
just told you. Let
Mm.
me handle this. And that's the Destiny Woman problem. The Destiny Woman problem is they never turn it off.
I'm a survivor.
I never turn. Let me tell you something. My wife, I got her hats off to because she's a police officer.
Mhm, mhm,
And man, when she's out of her uniform, you would think she is a princess slash queen slash I don't know about anything aggressive in a work sense. Cause she turned that bad boy off. When she with me, she was like, I, I don't need to be that energy. And that's
mm,
what I'm
mm.
talking about. A
That's
lot of people don't know how to not be what they could be. You could be it. I crack joke with her all the time.
mhm,
And
mhm,
you carrying a gun. I mean, like, come on. You've taught how to defend yourself and all that stuff.
mm, mm.
Not one time. The energy, the
Wow.
whole energy, the whole spirit of the role of her job does not show up anywhere around us.
Wow. That
After being, and we've been together almost 5 years, and even in the dating and marriage phase of it all, and she totally leaves that alone. It doesn't even leak out occasionally because she just choose not to be that, and that's what I'm talking about. You could be a boss on the job. You
When
could
you
be
get home, you're not the boss.
straight up. You just, I'm gonna give my boo a chance to do what he needs to do. You get what I'm saying?
Wow, that's good.
But I have the ability to.
I have a friend who said at one of my conferences, she's a boss, CEO, but she says when I get home, when she says the practical thing of taking my heels off, when I take my heels off at the door, I am leaving the boss lady at the door. I'm now a wife. I'm now a wife.
Man, the challenge though is, and let me be fair to females. Let me say, this is not only a female issue. This is a guy issue where, like the guy who's a pastor, man, you're a pastor at the church.
Mm.
You're a husband at home, man. You're the father at home.
Leave the pastoring at leave the pulpit at church.
At church, take care of your family. You're a
Yeah,
man at home.
your wife wants a friend.
Your wife wants a friend. Your children wants a father. Your home needs to be family oriented. God presides there,
Mm,
but
mm.
in that space, y'all are all family, and there's no roles for what society gives y'all. One could be the mayor, the other one could be a mega pastor, the other one could be two or three students doing honor roll. We are not those things.
That's
When
good.
we're here, we're family. I'm your husband, you're my wife. Forget what they call you on the job and how many people report to you. That right there, Megs, is
That is
what messes up a lot of people.
that is good, Coach. I know you got to go, but before you go, what is your advice to the singles, young and mature, on online dating?
Yep. Online dating is filled with 50-50 scams, 50-50 potential.
That's a big number.
It's a big number, and that's why it is so dangerous because why and you need a skill set to navigate through that, which is why you almost want to go to the most credible, highly professional. The lines are drawn really clear
Mm, mm,
entities to help filter out scammers and people who just aren't there for the best reasons.
right.
But it works. I've had 3 or 4 friends who got their best relationships now married and doing life together, and they all met online.
Yeah, online.
And I didn't come from an online generation time. I actually initially tried right at the very break of considering going that route because I was like, I knew I wanted something completely different than what I was accustomed to.
Hmm.
But I would say what I discovered is because a lot of people just put up what they think what would sell them best, but not really who they are.
Yes,
Oftentimes, when people fill out status as to who they are, they
hmm,
put out who they think they are, but that's not really who they are.
they think they are.
Yeah, So so I like to have fun, but I just mentioned 10 things, and you say you won't do any of those. You're boring.
Mm,
So what are you talking about? Have fun. It just looks good on, you know. I like adventure, but do you really like adventure? Oh, I'm emotionally, I'm emotionally sensitive. Oh, watch this. I'm a communicator. I love talking.
Mhm, mhm.
But you could actually be the one dominating the talk and not actually listening.
So basically, conversations, whether it's online dating or you meet it in person, the conversations that you have or the questions that you ask are going to determine whether this goes forward or not. And
Most
I
certainly.
think all the red flags that you mentioned, like 2 weeks into talking to someone online, they start telling you, oh, I need this paid, I need that paid.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
A huge, huge red flag.
Or maybe
Or
the conversation, I want to marry you. Dude, you don't even know me.
you don't even know me. Oh, I love you. You love me online. I mean, I'm maybe some virtual conversation. But once again, if a person tells you they love you from a virtual relationship that hasn't been met in person, y'all may have been showing some what they call it, what they sexting poses. You're like get playing with each other's emotions, right? But what happens is you're triggering something that's not something you build a healthy relationship on. That's not sustainable.
Mm, mhm.
So even that position of I love you because we've been playing with each other romantically through the virtual space isn't real.
When you meet
Isn't
in
real.
person, when you meet in person,
You see?
mm, mm, mm,
Even when you meet in person, you can have you might, man, this is all of what I thought it would be on some. But the question is it sustainable?
mm,
Is
that's
it sustainable?
good.
Is it sustainable? Have we done the work to make sure this is sustainable? That's why I coach a lot of my clients. I'm not caught up on the quick fix, Megs. I'm caught up on sustainability. I'm caught up on, like I mentioned at the beginning of our talk, no matter what, I want you to do well.
Yeah,
With a person or without a person. I want you to show up in the world shining bright like a diamond, understanding I'm a prize. Someone connects with me, they're going to win.
yeah.
Someone choose not to connect with me, the world will still be blessed because I was present.
Mm, mm. That's true. Like somebody said, Michelle Obama. I read her book. Well, I listened to her book. I like Audible these days, and she met up with her ex boyfriend. And someone was like, "Oh, well, if you had married him, you would have not been the president's wife." She said, "Mm-mm, if I had married him, he would have been the president." So, you know what? I'm the whole package.
Yes, yes. And, I bring value. And that's the
Yeah,
reason why there's this constant go. But here's the deal value at its best, recognize value.
that's good.
You
That's good.
see, value at its best, recognize value. There are a lot of people who've got value, but didn't
Hmm.
recognize value until they lost value. And that's the reason why you have to be very sensitive and careful about committing what is valuable to somebody who doesn't understand value. So closing, Megs, what I would say is that's why you have to, when we talk about all these Christian women, you're in a church, look at the church you go to. Ain't nobody in there doing nothing other than the pastor. He's the only person on the climb to doing things in life. And you can't get him because he's taken, right?
Right.
And so, but half of the other dudes haven't even found himself yet, and the other half is already taken. This ain't the room to find no man then.
Mm,
Why aren't you in the Chamber of Commerce meeting? Why aren't you a part of the university association board that's in your city that you graduated from? Why aren't you in a Rotary Club or Toastmasters organization where there are like-minded people? You're a classy person. Stop eating where classy people don't eat. Okay, just start eating where classy
high
people.
places.
It's environments, man. It's environment. And
Yeah.
so now what's going to happen is you dine in those environments where you feel as though it feeds your spirit. You
Mm,
eat in those environments. You network in those environments. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to find you're doing life in those environments, which is going to attract everything that is a little bit more inclined to being who you are. But a lot of people, you want to claim next level, but you're operating and doing life at the lowest level, and you want the best out of life. It don't work that way.
wow. That is really good. We went like double the time that we normally go because this was such a great conversation. Coach, we are going to have you back. I
Yep.
don't know when, but it's just been so, so good. I think I'm going to put the link in the chat with how you can get hold of Coach Ricardo. He can come and speak at your events live online. We just did a Zoom meeting and he was phenomenal. And he also has I'm being your advertising your services,
Yeah.
one-on-one coaching. Definitely, you need a Coach Ricardo in your life. Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you, everybody, for listening to My Tribe. Remember, you are not an island. Life is about who you do life with. So find your tribe, locate your tribe, invest in your tribe. God bless you. Um, Click the subscription button, and we will see you next time. God bless you. Thanks again, Coach.
God bless you.
Bye.